Okay, so let's go ahead and jump in. I had something that I wanted to talk with you guys about. Who knows what the topic is for today's call?
Oh, I didn't check this time.
That's okay. It's about closing at the listing presentation. I really thought Aaron brought up a great topic on Monday, and I wanted to expand on it and talk about closing at the listing presentation. The first thing I want to talk about is that a closing is the natural ending to a great listing experience. So it's very natural. What I define as a listing experience is everything soup to nuts, from the pre-qualification to you dropping off the pre-listing packet to you actually showing up for the listing presentation. So here's the interesting thing. When you show up for a listing presentation, I believe that is your listing to lose. You know, sellers believe that you can sell their house the minute you walk through the door. And then sometimes when you open up your mouth, that's when they start to lose faith in you. So it's really important, in order to get to the point where we close and we can actually take that listing, that they have confidence that we can do the job that they are hiring us to do. So when we're at the listing presentation, we're going to go and view the house. We're going to talk about how buyers determine value. We're going to go over our marketing, and we're also going to look at comparable properties. Once we go through the comps and we actually agree on the price, you know, we're all in agreement on the price that will cause their home to sell, it's time for us to close. And it's time for us to say, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, will you list your home with me today at this price? And then shut up and let them answer. And so they're going to say one of two things. If they say yes, then we're going to sign the listing paperwork and get the listing. If they say no, you have to start asking some questions. What I like to ask is, number one, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, do you think I can sell your home? And sometimes they'll say yes. And if they say yes, I'll say, then what's stopping you from signing with me today? And again, this is another point where we have to learn to be quiet and allow them to answer. And they'll say things like, we're interviewing other agents. How many of you guys have heard that?
Yeah.
We're interviewing other agents. Here's something where practicing your scripts and role playing really helps you out, because you have to feel very confident in using the strategy I'm about to cover with you. It's very effective, but you have to have confidence in delivering it. I can appreciate that you're interviewing other agents. As part of my professional services, here's what I do for my clients. When they're interviewing other agents after me, but they've decided I'm the right choice, what I do is I call those agents for them. Here's what I say. I tell them that the sellers met with me. They liked everything I had to say about what I could do to sell their home. I had to twist their arm a little bit. However, they decided to list the home with me. So there's no need for you to come for your appointment. However, I am still interested in working with you should you have a buyer that would be right for this home. I'll make sure that I send you a flyer for the property when I get it listed. How do you think things would go at a listing presentation if you said that to the seller?
I think it would take some pressure off the seller to do it themselves.
I so love that you said that. Here's the biggest thing. I've been on so many listing appointments where I didn't get it, and the seller said to me, David, we appreciate it. We're going to interview some other agents. We'll let you know. And they never called me. I just saw the property pop up as an active listing on the MLS, because sellers don't want that pressure of being the bad guy. They don't want to make that phone call and tell the other agent, we're not hiring you, we're going with Joe, or we're going with Sarah. They don't want to make that call. So automatically, if we can say to them, you know that I'm the right choice, let me take that off your plate and call those agents for you and cancel those appointments, they're going to love that you're making that offer. And when you walk them through what you're going to say and how you're going to approach it, it gives them confidence that it's going to be handled correctly, and they're going to feel confident saying, okay, go ahead and make that phone call and call them and cancel the appointment. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Here's what I'll tell you. I've made that phone call before. I've canceled appointments for other agents. They were a little upset about it, but they ultimately said thank you. And I've also been sitting at home working on comps, getting ready for an appointment, and I've gotten that phone call from other agents. And initially, I was a little upset about it. I'll be honest with you. However, I realized I don't have to waste my time. I don't have to get ready and get dressed and continue running comps and putting a presentation together and spending 2 hours away from my family. I know that I'm not getting the listing. I don't have to waste my time. I can spend that time going after more business or just enjoying my family. So that's the right way to handle that objection if it comes up. Now, what if they said to you, David, we like you. We think we can sell your home. However, it's the price that we have an issue with. You know, I know we agreed to this number, but we really feel like our house is worth more. That's another pushback that we're going to get from sellers. And so one of the things that we need to learn to say, and if you guys have something to write with, write this down or listen back to the call later. We want to say specifically, what makes you think your house is worth blank, whatever number they give you, and then shut up and let them talk. We want to know specifically what makes them think a house that we're telling them is worth $500,000, why they think it's worth $550,000. And a lot of times when they start trying to articulate why they think it's worth that much more, they start to realize it's more an emotional thing for them versus what the numbers are saying. And so we just have to be quiet and give them an opportunity to answer that question. Now, once they answer it, if they're being a little unreasonable, then our next question would be, Mr. Seller, Mrs. Seller, have you ever bought a stock before? Somebody tell me what that script is when it goes in regards to a stock.
Are you familiar how buyers determine value?
No.
Say you bought a stock.
There we go.
Say you bought Apple stock this year at $100, and then next year you decide to sell it, but the stock is now valued at $75.
Yes.
Can you still sell it at $100?
No.
So that is similar to how homes are. So that's similar to homes. I don't make the market, Mr. Seller. I interpret it. And the market is saying your home should be priced at this price.
Well, Raj, I want to say two things. Number one, thank you for speaking up and saying that script. I was starting to say, if somebody in push doesn't say this damn script, I'm having issues. So thank you. Here's how the script goes. Mr. Mrs. Seller, have you ever bought stock before? And they're going to say yes. Or do you know someone who's bought stock before? And they're going to say yes. If you bought Disney at $100 a share 2 years ago, and you have to sell that stock today, and it's currently trading at $50, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, how much can you sell that stock for today? And they're going to say $50. And you're going to say exactly. I don't make the market. I just interpret the market. And the market is telling us that your home is worth blank. And that's what we can sell it for. The house market is just like the stock market. And we have that dialogue with them that get them to understand why we're pricing the property the way we're pricing it. Sometimes that still doesn't work. And so then we have to sit back down and go through the comps and really show them where we came up with the number to price their home. And then we have to take it to motivation if they're still pushing back on us about price. We need to start questioning their motivation and explaining how coming out on the market at the wrong price is going to cause them just to sit on the market day after day after day and not sell. And my question to the seller and my question to you guys would be, when a house is on the market day after day after day and it's not selling, what are buyers starting to think about that house?
That it was overpriced.
Yeah, and
Something wrong with the house?
something's wrong with the house.
There's something wrong with it. Nobody wants to buy it.
Yes, and see, the way you guys just answered that question for me, that's the question you have to pose to the seller. Mr. Seller, if I list your house at that number you want and it's sitting on the market day after day after day, what do you think buyers are going to start thinking about your home? And you have to have the seller tell you exactly what you guys said, that it's overpriced, that something's wrong with the property. Exactly, Mr. Seller. And if they have that impression of your home, do you think they're going to offer you fair market value, or do you think they're going to come in and offer you lower? And be quiet and let the seller tell you they probably will try to get a deal. Exactly. So that's why we need to go on the market at the right price so that we can get your home sold and get you moved to North Carolina so that you can be there to take care of your mother or whatever their reason for selling is. Let me just check the time here. All right, really quickly, the last one. David, we like you. We just need to think it over before we make a decision. And a lot of people will give you that pushback, and a lot of times they do need to think it over. So there are two strategies. I'll cover them really quickly. The first strategy is it's a very important decision that you're about to make to list your home with me tonight. So what specifically do you need to think over? 3 heads are better than 2. Let's talk it over right now and be quiet and see what they come up with. They may say, well, actually, we have somebody else we're interviewing. They just may need time to actually sit and talk as a couple to determine how they really feel about you as an agent. And so you need to be able to understand that sometimes people need that room to make a decision. And so the strategy that I have used, and it's very effective, is to say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I need to go and return some emails and a couple of phone calls. I'm going to step out to my car for 10 minutes and return those calls. And when I come back in, we're going to make a decision tonight if you choose to hire me or if I decide to take your listing. Whatever we decide is okay, but we're going to make a decision tonight. I'll be back in 10 minutes. Not, do you mind if I go to my car so that you guys can think it over? I'm going to go out to my car for 10 minutes. You guys talk it over. When I come back in, we're going to make a decision on whether or not you hire me or if I decide to take the listing. Either one is okay. Fair enough?
Right.
When I have done that,
Quick question on that.
say again?
Now, one quick question. You said if I agree to work with you also.
Mm-hmm.
But before that point, wouldn't you have been agreed on a price?
A lot of times when they have a chance to sit down and talk, a lot of things can still come up, Mitch, and that's a great question. They may say, yeah, we agreed on this price, but I really want more. If he'll do it at this price, I'll list with him tonight. Or if he'll do it at this reduced commission, or if he'll only take the listing for 30 days, or allow us to still be a for sale by owner while it's listed. So many things can still come up in their final decision. I need to be able to say, I'd rather turn you down than let you down. I can't take the listing under those terms.
Well, David, we've thought about it, and if you reduce your commission, we'll be more than happy to work with you.
My commission is not part of this. You're hiring me to get your property sold. I have a set commission, and I do appreciate where you're coming from, Mitch. And what I hear you saying to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that you have a certain number that you have to net when you sell this home in order to move. Is that correct?
Yeah, and I mean, we do need to net the most, and he said he would do it for a little bit more and reduce his commission, but I really appreciate you coming over to us.
So you're saying he would do it for a little more? Are you saying he would list your house a little higher and reduce his commission?
That's what he's telling me.
Yeah. Can I explain to you, why he's telling you that?
David, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So listen, I'm not here to convince you to list with me. I'm here to show you what needs to happen to get you moved to North Carolina by February, like you told me. And unfortunately, there are a lot of agents that will tell you what you want to hear. So they'll come in here and tell you a high price for your home because they know that's what you want to hear, and they'll tell you a low commission. The commission doesn't matter if they don't get your home sold. So no matter what they're charging you, you'll never pay it if they can't see it sell your house. The reason they're telling you a high number is they're trying to buy your listing. They want the opportunity to get the listing so they can put a sign in your front yard and put your house on the MLS. When that happens, they're going to get tons of phone calls from interested buyers. Let me tell you what they typically do. They take those phone calls and they don't sell your home. They go sell all the homes that are around your home that are priced correctly. So in essence, they're just using your house to advertise their services, and they could care less that you have to get to North Carolina by February. I'm here telling you what you need to hear, and that's what you told me, someone that would be direct with you and be upfront with you about where you needed to price your home. In order to get you to North Carolina by February, this is where we have to be priced. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand why that person's lowering their commission and telling you a higher price?
Yeah, what you say makes sense, David, I gotta say. All right, come on in.
All right.
Where's the paperwork?
So, Mitch, thank you for bringing that in and throwing that in there, because that happens a lot of times and we have to be able to handle that. And if you guys noticed, I kind of messed it up in the beginning. When he first said that, I went down the wrong road at first, and then I corrected myself and said the right objection handler. We need to be practicing enough where we know what to say every time, and also understand that if we mess up, we can self-correct. The seller doesn't know our scripts and our objection handlers. We can always bring it back. We just need to be practicing enough where we feel comfortable using these objection handlers and getting the seller to understand why they need to be listed with us. No matter what they say, I'm not leaving that house until you kick me out or until you sign the listing contract with me. That's what they're hiring us for. They're hiring a salesperson who can actually close and get their home sold. And we need to stop walking away from these listing appointments and not closing, because in essence, we're telling the sellers that we don't know how to do our job. They expect us to close. You guys get that?
Yeah.
We're salespeople. Close, and close more than once. And understand that they're going to have objections. Get them to tell you what specifically they have an issue with. Be quiet and listen, and then address those objections. You isolate the objection. Other than commission, is there any other reason you wouldn't list with me? Other than the price, is there any other reason you wouldn't list with me? And then we attack those issues until they see we're the right choice. They want a bulldog like me. They want somebody who's going to fight for the business because they know I'm going to fight for them and get the price they need and get their home sold. It's not a turnoff if we are showing them why we are the right agent. And that's what I want you guys to do on the phone. I know we're over our time limit. I just looked at the time. It's 9:05. I'm done. Anybody have any questions before we finish up?
Thanks, David.
Yeah, I just
I
want to
do,
thank
but
you.
it's going to take another 20 minutes, so.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait again for next time, Seth.
I want to thank you for extending on Monday because I needed this call. So thank you.
Yeah. It's my pleasure to expand on Monday. Here's what I don't want. You guys heard everything I just said. I think you guys would all be in agreement that this is the level we need to be interacting with our sellers. I need you guys to do this. This is the difference between you having the year you want to have and making the money you want to have versus just having an okay year. The listings are yours to lose. If they invite you over, it's because you've said the right things and they have confidence that you could sell their home. They lose the confidence when you open your mouth. So you need to know the listing presentation. You need to know how to overcome any objections they give you. And you need to know how to close. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, not 4 times. I believe you should close at least 5 times at the listing presentation. At least 5. We need to do that in our business, and you guys need to make up your mind that you are great agents and you know what to say. And if you don't know what to say, learn it. You guys know I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday. Talk to me, call me, go to training classes that will teach you how to do your job. We need to know how to do this presentation. We need to learn how to close. Fair enough?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All right.
Fair enough.
You guys have a great day.
You too, David.
Thank you, David.
All right, thank you.